Okay, so we're going to build a wood structure that we've designed that we're then going to test how much weight it could hold. So I drew out my rough draft of how I want the structure to look. Then I used a ruler to draw a more detailed version of it. In this detailed full-scale version, it shows exactly what pieces of wood I'm going to be using. For example, the bottom is a 4-inch long piece of wood. The sides are 7.5 inches each. The top is a 4-inch piece of wood. And I didn't measure these, but I have a diagonal piece going from corner to corner. I have a diagonal piece going from corner to middle, and another diagonal piece going from corner to middle. So these are not overlapping. Okay, they're butting up against each other there and butting up against each other here. And I need to draw this out in a way that I could just set the pieces of wood down right on top of it. So this is a full-scale drawing of it. After I have that drawing, here's what I need. I need 4 photocopies of it because it's going to have 4 sides, and I want those sides to be identical. I don't want to try to draw it 4 different times. Waxed paper, a pencil, Scotch tape, some wood glue, a tool to cut the wood. You're going to need some pins, a nail file, and the actual wood that you're going to be using. And you might have some options as far as what wood you're going to use. So there are basically 2 different types. There's balsa wood and there's basswood. And they're actually different, they're different sizes. So the balsa wood is lightweight, and it's 3/16 of an inch thick. The basswood is a little stronger. It's a little denser than the balsa wood, but it's smaller. It's 1/8 of an inch thick. And you can decide which one you're going to use. And you can combine different woods together also. You can use balsa wood for the outside and basswood for the inside, or whatever if you want to. So then here's how you get started. Okay, you're going to line up your drawings on the foam board, and you're going to tape them down. Okay, now if we applied our wood and glued it all together on top of the paper, it's going to stick to the paper. And we don't want it to stick to the paper, so we're going to put wax paper on top of it, and it's not going to stick to the wax paper. So you're going to tear off a sheet of wax paper, and we're going to tape the wax paper to the foam board also. Okay, I'm going to use all balsa wood for this, and you don't need to start with an entire length of balsa wood. You want for each part a piece that's just slightly longer than what you're going to need, so we're not wasting any. Okay, so I'm going to start by using a pencil, lining up the flattest edge, and I'm going to mark with a pencil where that needs to be cut. I'm going to mark my second piece of wood and mark where that needs to be cut. Then I'm going to cut them. So to use this, there's a lock on it. I just need to swing that screw over to the side, and it unlocks. Okay, this is the sharp edge here. Okay, I'm going to line that up so it's straight, and then I just gently squeeze. Okay, and it cuts it. Same thing with this one. Make sure it's straight and squeeze. Okay, so now the one that I cut off had a broken end, but it's perfect for the top or the bottom. I'm going to mark it right there. Okay, this one has 2 broken ends, but that's fine. I'm going to mark right there and mark right there. The more exact you get this, the stronger the structure is going to be. Okay, now I'm ready for some glue. So here's how you do the glue. Okay, to open the glue bottle, I just pull up. Okay, and I'm not going to put a dab of glue on any of the wood. Okay, instead, I'm going to put a dab of glue on the wax paper. Just a little bit. Close the glue. Okay, then what I can do is I can dip just the end both ends. You want just that much glue, tiny bit, because you want the wood to still connect to the other piece of wood. Okay, same thing with the other one. Dab there, dab there. Okay. Now to hold these in place, here's how we do it. You take a pin. Okay. With the pins, you do not stab yourself, you do not stab your neighbors, you do not stab the furniture, you do not stab the wood either. You only stab the foam board. So it's going to go on an angle so that it's leaning against the wood. So I'm going to put the pin into the foam board and lean it against the wood. So it's holding it down. And the glue is still wet, so I can adjust it. Okay. You can put another one on the inside, leaning against it this way, so they're pushing against each other, and that will hold it in the exact right spot that you want it. And if you need to readjust it, go ahead and readjust it. Okay, so I don't need a pin on the inside of the top and bottom because it's pushing down onto the wood here. Now that I have all the pins I need, I can readjust the wood. That's where the glue is going to dry. Okay, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to line up middle. If you find that you have an uneven edge and you want to flatten that edge, that's what you use the nail file for. This wood is really soft and it should file down pretty easily. Perfect. It's better to be slightly too big and then file it down a tiny bit. Okay, dip that in. Okay, I'm going to use some pins to lean this. Just going to lean it in from the outside. When I do the diagonal ones, the corners are not going to be flat. Okay, the corners are going to be either pointed or they're going to be on an angle. And I could use the cutter or I could just use the file to file those down. Okay, and got a nice point there now. So that will fit into that corner. And then I need to do the same thing with the other corner. So I'm going to cut that first. Then I'm going to file it down. And if it's a little too big, I'm going to keep filing. So I'm going to dip that corner in the glue and the other corner in the glue. There we go. And I don't need to pin that because that's wedged in there pretty well. So you're just going to continue by doing this section, and then this section, and then that section, and that one, and that one. And then we leave that to dry. You do the same thing for the other 3 sides.